Oh goodness, it's bright out from the morning. Hello, California. Ugh. Hello, you beautiful, lovely curiosities. So, as you might have noticed, I've sort of thrown my original due date sort of to the wind. And while I will still be finishing up these 30 videos, I'm no longer going to be super strict on making sure I'm done by the 30th. Why? Because, well, the 30th is Sunday, and I have had a crazy couple of weekends, and that's not really going to end this week. Actually, it's going to end first week of May. I had family in town, and then I had my birthday weekend where I had a bunch of friends come, and it became a much more bigger thing than I thought it was going to be. And I've got 2 more friends coming this weekend for some serious pie stuff and also just to hang out and be awesome. So this seemed like a great time to talk about one of the unfortunate conundrums you run into when you are an artist who also has a day job. Seems like a great time to talk about it. You can only have 2 out of the 3. One of the things we don't entirely talk about too much is when you are an artist of really any kind who is not making your full living situation from your art, you run into this conundrum of having to sacrifice one of 3 things, and that is money. You don't take a job that pays as much, or you end up scraping by more, that sort of thing, or you sacrifice your social life. You have a day job, but you don't get to see any of your friends because anytime you're not at your 9-to-5er, you are literally working to the bone to get out your work, to write, to film a video, etc., etc. And the last one is sleep, which, I'm not gonna lie, is one I've forfeited a lot this month, which is why I've been very tired, because I was like, but I want to hang out with friends because it's my birthday month and all this jazz, and but sleep is so important. As much as I hate it, it's so important because I tell myself, oh, this is like 6 to 7 hours. Okay, 5 to 6 hours if I'm being honest with myself, that I could be doing something else. I could be filming, I could be writing music, anything. And I get really frustrated because I just feel like I'm doing nothing and I'm just wasting that time. But the unfortunate truth of the matter is you are doing something. You're regenerating. And you need to regenerate. You need to heal from the day in order to take on the next day. So it is important. And while sometimes I understand sacrificing a little bit of sleep, it can't be the thing you always sacrifice, unfortunately, or you will die, probably. And obviously, we need to have our friendships and there's a bit of a social life because eventually you just start going into this little hermit area, which can get depressing and lonely. And even if you're not the sort of person who gets depressed when you just like don't interact with people, we have to have some interaction, even if it's and I guess I should also loop social life in with just recreational things, because sometimes our regenerating or whatnot, our relaxation doesn't involve people at all. It involves like playing video games. But when I've got a bunch of deadlines, obviously the last thing I have time to do is play video games. But I've noticed, I think it's really important to have even a small bit of a social life, even if it's online or whatnot, just because it connects you with the humans around you outside. And if we lose that connection completely as artists, we kind of lose our ability to relate to the world. And what's the point of making art if you're not really relating to the world in some way and trying to make it better, etc., etc. Like, I feel like that's kind of the whole point of art, is to make this meaningful connection with the world outside. I keep thinking that the camera is over on this side because I have my phone turned the opposite direction, so I keep looking over here when I should be looking there, so I apologize. Habits die hard. Money becomes a conundrum because you have to be able to eat, you have to be able to pay your bills, and we're not all so lucky to be able to stay with a family member or a friend rent-free, etc., etc. A lot of us are trying to desperately make things work on our own dime, independently, and if you have extra stressors on that, like student loans, I pay about $1,800 a month in student loans alone, which is especially painful when I realize that I have, like, I don't regret going to school because, goodness, I learned so much from that. It made me who I am today. I create so much. I'm just going to be grammatically crappy right now because I'm tired. I create so much better. So much better things. So many better things. There we go. So many better things. The quality is better. There's more heart to it. I'm more honest with myself because I went to this school and because I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about writing and character work and acting, and I don't regret that. But the fact that that is also, because that knowledge is now, how I acquired that knowledge is now a hindrance on what I am capable of doing in order to also survive but make art, is just, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, and it's fine if you just feel absolutely hopeless sometimes. It's not hopeless. I want you to know that. It's not hopeless. We can get through this. But I want you to know that that is a completely natural feeling. And as unfortunate as it is, you kind of have to go through this running gamut of sacrificing one of those three things. And it's always best to try to rotate it for the most part. Just because otherwise you kind of start to lose your sanity in one area. But I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times I was sacrificing my social life for a good chunk of time as well. And that people would be like, how would you get so much done? And I'm like, I would systematically sacrifice something that was very dear to me that took up a lot of time. It would either be people or my video games or books or whatever you would use to just wind down, or sleep, which is not great, but sometimes it's just the way you have to do it. And that is the unfortunate lesson of today, and it's not super happy, and I apologize for that because I really wish I could give you something a bit more uplifting. But that is the thing we face as artists, who also have to have an income that is separate from that. But I want you to know that I love you, and we can do this, and we're freaking awesome anyway. And I also want you to know that just because you have to have a separate income that is not necessarily related to your art, that does not make you any less of a writer or a painter or an actor or whatever. No, that's a ridiculous thought process that for some reason the world is trying to put into our heads, and I just want to tell you that it's crap. I love you so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye.